Afro-Surrealism and I have like this bond together where it's just a natural way of me expressing and retelling stories of Black people. Hi, my name is Delana, aka A Color for Chaos, and I am your favorite Afro-Surrealist artist. Today, I'll be sharing why Afro-Surrealism is a part of my art practice and like why it's the core of my expression and why is it so important to the human experience. Like being a Black person is a surreal experience, and the artwork that I create, I aim for it to be a portal that challenges norms and just overall reveals like a language to celebrate those who are Black and to empower our narratives. I like to explore the connections between identity and nature a lot. I think it's just because I'm obsessed with plants. I don't know, but it's it's a reoccurring occurrence within my work. In the beginning, it was more so of a healing expression for myself, where Afro-Surrealism pushed my creativity outside of the regular boundaries of what realism could give me, or more than what abstract can give me. So what is Afro-Surrealism? First, we have to define what Surrealism is. Surrealism is defined as a 20th century avant-garde movement in art and literature which sought to release the creative potential of the conscious mind. When you think surrealism, it's very dreamy, very ethereal, very like out of this world. It's not the typical, not the norm. Drawing influences from surrealism, Afro-Surrealism really started as an art movement that pushed a radical way of thinking and otherworldly imagery to articulate the Black experience. With roots traced back to the Harlem Renaissance, the movement aided in laying the groundwork for the Black arts movement over time and was later labeled as a distinct genre that it is today. It's been a powerful tool for expressing the pain, beauty, and resilience of our stories in what really feels like both a magical and a real way. So artists like Harmonia Rosales really inspired me in my art practice. I loved looking at her Renaissance inspired compositions and how she was retelling these stories in Yoruba folklore and mythology. When listening to her interviews, I remember how she sat there and stated her reasoning of getting back into art and how she would take her daughter to the museums and show her, like, don't you think these paintings are beautiful? And her daughter really just sitting back and responding like,
they're okay, but like, are there any art pieces that shows us, like people who look like us?
Like, that's a very real feeling. And when hearing that, it reminded me of like my love in art and our history, but always wanting to see like representation of Black people in a positive way. So when I speak on Afro-Surrealism, I really thank Harmonia Rosales because she, not even knowing that it was her work when I first saw it and later listening to her interviews, it reminded me of the importance of Black representation and the Black identity. As I continue to look at her interviews, I had to ask myself and journal, like, why am I using these symbolisms in my work? Why am I using halos? Why am I using peonies? Why am I using golden scars? Why are they coming of our bodies? You know, it's just like this continuation of me trying to figure out why I'm so drawn to these types of symbolisms. And when researching, not realizing like some of the things that came from my childhood or things that I like have so much of a bigger meaning when I have them within my art. Like, for example, the latest series, A Colorful Family Archives, is based off of the fact of me processing my grief of a loved one who had passed suddenly. Me going through this huge archival like photographs and photo albums that me and my mom had from my grandmother, I wanted to recreate those photos within my art style. And what started off as a grief process for myself exploded into this bigger narrative and these more powerful pieces of the wealth and like the hard work that my grandparents and my parents have started within our family. In a way, it was showing not just generational like healing from generational trauma, but just echoing different stories from different perspectives that really resonated with an audience, even outside of my targeted audience. Afro-Surrealism to me is more impactful, just not only expressing the narratives of Black people, but also just expanding throughout the human experience of empathy. Generally, why I think I'm so connected to it is challenging people to actually go inside themselves and connect with my work and connect with an audience. Afro-Surrealism is literally everywhere, from anime, from to books, movies, shows, and music. Like, it's really, I'm not gonna just say easy to identify, but when you see things getting a little weird and like out of this world in Black media, like that's Afro-Surrealism. Atlanta is one of the greatest shows on TV and honestly has heavy notes of the genre. Even anime like Afro Samurai and Samurai Champloo has like Afro-Surrealism in there, right? Like, and if you want me to dive deeper into like across the media, whether it's anime, music, and like Afro-Surrealism having those deep notes and breaking those down, let me know down in the comments. Another artist that really has Afro-Surrealism in their music is Kendrick Lamar. One of my favorite pieces, Father Time, is a true example of that. Kendrick made the song based off of the concept of time or father time and breaking the generational cycle of toxic masculinity and really trying to find the healing version of himself to really face his traumas and grow from them. From bottling up your feelings and being very guarded and not seeking therapy, there's a lot of different themes that are going on in that song. And so when I created that painting, I wanted to add my signatures into that piece. I want to do another video breaking down not just that piece, but other pieces that were inspired by music. So let me know if that's also something you want to see. I really want you guys to notice across media, what are your favorite shows? What are your favorite movies or music? And can you see Afro-Surrealism in there? Every element I include has a purpose, like plants growing out of our wombs and flowers and birds and butterflies. Like everything I put in my pieces has a purpose. And whether or not if someone can really hit the nail on the head on why I put it in there, there's so many different views and perspectives that really hits home when it comes down to retelling of these stories. And because I use nature so much in my work, I really want my audience to feel this sense of grounding, a really sense of self and becoming one and doing some introspection. But also it's like sometimes I want to get weird and I just want to add some antlers to somebody's head or add faces within flowers. Like things can get weird when it comes down to surrealism, and sometimes you just need to push that in order for you to create something really worthwhile. One of the things that I want people to really learn about surrealism is that it's a way to push your boundaries creatively, but also just to bring more open-mindedness and flexibility into our thoughts, pushing our empathy when it comes down to a lot of works. Like, yes, it's building of the subconscious, it's building this world that's not a part of our reality. Like, expand your mind, expand your imagination when it comes down to these new perspectives and adding on to like the analogy and the symbolisms that are being brought out from the artist, translating it to the audience, which is you. It's very much of just pushing that creativity in order to really hit home with the Black narratives that are being told within the body of work.